Mm-hmm. He was telling us earlier when he was in the Air Force, he got mad at his sergeant
Miss Sergeant.
and chased him with the meat cleaver. And
I cussed him out pretty good.
All right, Grandpa. What is your birth date?
11/29/1938.
I could have told you that. I have it written down.
Okay, well, y'all let him talk.
Oh, it is November 27th, 2024. No. The day today.
Oh, okay.
Your birthday is November 29th,
Right.
1938. All right, what was your full name at birth?
James Raymond McKeegan.
Is Raymond R-A?
Raymond.
Not Rain Man.
Were you named after a relative or someone else of significance?
The James I'm not sure about, but the Raymond was kind of like after my Uncle Ray.
Well, he was which number of children were you?
Which was the number of children I was?
You were the baby, right?
I have to figure that out. Wayne, Delma, Glenn, Leota, Albert, Paul, Wilbur, and Pearl. And then I was the ninth one.
So number 9.
he was the baby.
So they ran out of names.
Raymond was, or Ray was on Grandma or Grandpa?
McKeegan.
He was on the grandfather's side. His dad's side.
In what city were you born?
Dalhart, Texas.
Do you know your length and weight at your time of birth?
No, but at the house I've got my baby book, but I didn't think about bringing it.
And we'll leave it as question marks until we see that. Were you born in a hospital?
No,
Where were you born?
in the house.
In the house you lived in?
Mm-hmm.
Very common.
And Dad brought me into this world.
His father brought him.
Yeah.
In more ways than one.
Wow. Was your birth early, on time, or late?
I don't know.
Don't know. How old were your parents when you were born?
Oh Lord, that's at 37. So,
When was Grandma born?
I mean 39, 38, 39, 38.
38.
Take 3 years off of that. Mom and Dad were both born in 1903.
Both of them?
So take 3 years off of 38, so they were 35.
How old were you when you took your first steps?
I don't know that.
Do you know what your first words were?
No.
No.
Stop it.
Do you remember how your parents described you as a baby?
Rotten.
Have you been told any stories about the day you were born?
No.
What is your favorite childhood memory? Wait, should we wait for Dad to get back?
I don't know. You got a phone call?
Mm-hmm. You want to wait for Dad to get back, Grandpa?
Huh?
Do you want to wait for Dad to get back before we continue?
You can if you want to.
Let me see what he's doing.
What was that? What was
What is a favorite childhood memory?
the earliest memory I had was when my brother drowned in 1942.
Drown?
Yeah. because they brought his body into the house, set him on the chair there in the casket. They had him in there then. He was 13 years old.
Oh no. That is not good.
And do you remember what you said?
The only thing I can remember Mama telling me that when the sheriff brought Wayne's clothes back, I asked him if he shot my brother. And I was only 4 years old.
All right. Well, on a lighter note, what is your favorite memory? A happy memory, or I guess not happy. Happy if you have a not happy favorite memory.
Well, that's a hard one.
That was a hard
I
one.
can't remember other very bad memories any time. I don't know if I got a favorite.
Did you ever?
Your first kiss.
I guess whenever my brother put me on the horseback.
Put you on horseback?
Yeah.
How old
I
were you?
wasn't very old then. I fell off the horse.
Oh my goodness. And it wasn't a little tiny one, was it?
No. Feather was a big old horse.
Feather.
Why is that one of your favorites? Just because you think it's funny, or?
Yeah, it was funny. It wasn't the first time I fell off, but my brother said that he chased me down the horse back down to where the barn was. Said I fell off about halfway down the alley, and he said, "What was I hollering? Hi, old silver." That's what they told me.
Well, that's a good memory. No, 7. Okay, these are some questions that I can do either with or without him. It says like Google the following for the year you were born and stuff. So it's like, what are some notable events? What movie won the Academy Award? Should we do that together? Or?
I think it'd be good to do it together.
Okay. 1 second. Let me make sure I'm on the right question. Okay. So for this one, it's what are some notable events?
Some what?
Notable events that happened the year you were born. So I'm going to look it up.
What?
The Holocaust.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
World War. What?
The Holocaust had begun, but the war hadn't started.
No, there was a war there with Germany, but it wasn't the World War.
Hey.
The California Golden Bears won the Rose Bowl game. I don't know what that is.
What year was that?
1938, the year you were born.
Okay,
Well, Rose Bowl was
the
football?
Rose Bowl. Yeah,
I mean, it's football now, so.
there was a movie star that played in the Rose Bowl from Alabama.
In 1938?
I think it was earlier than that. I think it was
Let's
earlier
see.
than that.
I'll say Alabama actor.
His name was
in Rose.
Johnny Mac Brown.
Oh, you remember his name.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, come on. You think he doesn't remember that?
Johnny Mac Brown. He played in the Rose Bowl in 1926.
Oh.
And he was in Hollywood Westerns.
Yeah.
You would know that, Grandpa. Okay. Let's see, I have a few other notable events. So here's some other things that happened. Give me 1 second. Okay. So the California Golden Bears won the Rose Bowl game. Daffy Duck and Egghead cartoon short was released. Ladislaw Biro invented the ballpoint pen. Strobe lighting was invented. Swiss chemist Albert Hofmann synthesized LSD. The 10th Academy Awards were held in Los Angeles. And the film Jezebel premiered at Radio City Music Hall. Douglas Wrongway Corrigan crossed the Atlantic. And the British locomotive Mallard set a new world record for steam engines. So you had quite a few things that happened in 1938. All right, the next question is, what movie won the Academy Award for Best Picture?
Archie. Stop.
Okay, in 1938, Academy Award for Best Picture was won by The Life of Emile Zola.
Who?
The Life of Emile Zola. I've never heard of it.
Let's see.
No, that was in early stages, so they're still silent films back then.
The Life of Emile Zola.
Well, after struggling to establish himself, author Emile Zola wins success writing about the unsavory side of Paris and settles into a comfortable upper-class life. However, Zola's complacency is shaken when Jewish officer Alfred Dreyfus is imprisoned for being a spy. Realizing that Dreyfus is an innocent victim of anti-Semitism, Zola boldly pens a newspaper article exposing the truth, is charged with libel, and must defend himself in a dramatic courtroom testimony.
The next one is who won Best Actor and Best Actress. Best Actor was won by Spencer Tracy for his role in Captains Courageous.
Spencer Tracy, he was a good actor.
Yes, he was.
I don't know that name. And Best Actress was won by Louise Rayner for her role in The Good Earth. Daddy, you missed a story about how his brother put him... Which brother put you on horseback?
Glenn.
Glenn. Put him on horseback. And he was chasing him toward the barn, the horse. And he was screaming hi-ho silver, but he ended up falling off. Okay, now I'm looking up a few of the popular movies that came out that year. Angels with Dirty Faces.
Mm-hmm.
You Can't Take It With You.
I remember those.
Pygmalion. Jezebel. Boys Town. The Lady Vanishes. The Adventures of Robin Hood. Bringing Up Baby. A Christmas Carol. Holiday. Algiers. Mary Antoinette. Alexander Nevsky. Alexander's Ragtime Band. Four Daughters. Port of Shadows. Blockheads. Bluebeard's Eighth Wife. Olympia Part 1. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Three Comrades. Love Finds Andy Hardy. Mad About Music, and Test Pilot. Those were the top 30 popular movies, I think.
That was a lot.
I just read off that whatever was on that list right there.
When you mentioned Love Catches Andy Hardy, that was Mickey Rooney, and I think it was Judy Garland.
Oh, I like Judy Garland. She was in one of the first A Star Is Born, one of the first ones for that.
Oh yeah, first one come out. Well, he back there.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen a clip of it before. And then I've seen the new one that they made for it. Okay. Now I'm looking at what song was on top of the Billboard charts in 1938. A Tisket, a Tasket by the Chick Webb Orchestra with vocals by Ella Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I remember Ella Fitzgerald. She was a good singer. And
I don't know this
Ethel
song.
Waters.
I can look up this song.
Just get a task.
Then come back out later years again.
I don't remember a real song. I remember like a childhood song. It's the same song.
That came out in 1938.
Mm-hmm.
It was redone again by the Andrews sisters.
So that was the number one song in 1938. And then the next question is, who was the leader of the country? It was Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Yep.
It says president, prime minister, etc., but I'm assuming you just need a list.
Yeah.
President.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He was in office till 1940, 44, 45 when he died. And then Truman took over. We had an old saying, LSMFT. Lord saved me from Truman. And it was also a cigarette that put Lucky Strikes means fine tobacco.
Let's see. Next. Oh, sorry. Go
The
ahead.
Lucky Strikes were that was the ones that the military
Yeah.
usually gave.
Okay. The next question is, what were some popular television shows? But it says that TV wasn't.
We didn't have no TVs clear up into the 50s.
Yeah, it says that there aren't many TV shows known to have been popular in 1938 because the first electronic television sets for the public in the United States weren't introduced until May of that year. However, some TV shows that debuted in 1939 include Let's Talk It Over with Jen Hind, So This Is New York with George Ross, and Wings Over the Nation.
Yeah, President Roosevelt was the reason they put a two-term on presidents.
Mm-hmm.
He was in there almost. Well, he been in there in the 30s, and then till the day he died.
I didn't know that. I thought that was a thing since like the beginning. I'm Okay. Next, I'm looking up some prices of items. Okay. The price of a loaf of bread in 1938 was 9 cents.
Yes.
Price of gallon of milk was 42 cents.
Mm-hmm.
A cup of coffee could cost between 19 cents and 32 cents.
Usually, if you bought a cup of coffee, it would wound up being a nickel or a dime. Cokes were like a nickel. Coca-Cola.
So they sold them in bottles by then?
Huh?
They sold them in bottles by then?
Oh, yeah.
A dozen eggs in 1938 would have cost 20 cents.
Yeah.
A first class stamp, what is that? Like a postal stamp?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was 3 cents.
Oh, the first Coca-Cola bottle was 1894.
I didn't know what that year it come in.
I thought it was in like soda shops, so I didn't think they bottled them until later, but
The average price of a new car was $760.
760.
Yeah. A gallon of gas was 20 cents.
Cheap.
it was
When I
expensive
worked
at the time.
in the service station down there for Dad, it was like 29 cents a gallon.
A movie ticket was 25 cents.
You know what I got in there for? 12 cents.
Really?
And the adult was like 25 cents. But,
Yeah, but you're not talking 1938. She's talking 1938. You didn't go movies at 1938.
but they was only 12 cents when we was going. And 25 cents or 50 cents for a adult.
The average cost of a new home in 1938 was $3,900.
I think Dad, when he bought that house just after I was born in another house, but it was right there in the same area. He paid $3,000 for that house.
Oh, now they're like,
But again, they weren't making
that's true.
diddly squat.
Yeah, that's very
I mean,
true.
we may get to a cost comparison.
Well, that was right during the 30s was whenever
Depression.
everything, the Depression days.
It'd be the equivalent of $61,162 today.
What, the house?
$3,000.
So it's still a good price.
Yeah, it was. But their houses were much smaller. So your shotgun house that Carol Ann lives in, what is the square footage of
Ours
it?
was we had all of us kids, we slept downstairs in the basement.
Well, we already discussed that there wasn't enough room for all of y'all, but what was the size of that house? Is it maybe 1,000 square feet?
I wouldn't think so. It looks a lot smaller today than it did when I was growing up.
It's a tiny home.
Well, like my apartment tiny home, or is it a little bit
It's
bigger?
a little bigger than that.
Okay, so maybe 1,000 square feet. And we're at 21, so you're looking at half the size of this home.
For 9 kids.
There's only-
But I'm talking about for the price. So just double it. What he paid when he got into this house was basically an equivalent to.
You know what I paid for a house here in Houston in 1965?
How much?
$14,900 in 1965.
What was the square footage of that house?
It was good. It was a 3-bedroom,
One bath.
attached to the 2 baths.
Oh wow, that was a big deal.
It was all brick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I had a double car garage.
You think he remembers?
Yeah,
How were you?
I remember from
we
big.
stayed in it till '73.
Yeah, it was.
When he was 3, he doesn't always remember that, but from pictures.
But it was
I remember only from 3. From videos.
it was a pretty big house. But like I said, and my house payment was like $150 a month.
What's your house payment?
10 times that.
Oh, more than
Well,
almost.
that's with property tax and everything added into it. It's $2,084.
My property tax was, of course, it was paid. They had a escrow in mine, so my $150 a month included in my escrow too. So they paid my insurance and my taxes out of the escrow.
Only have 90 more pages.
Ooh.
But it's good because we're learning a lot.
Yeah.
So there's some of these things I would never know. How would you describe yourself when you were a kid?
Ornery as the devil.
Well, you had to be.
I had the 4 older brothers. It was all the time. I was the one that got beat up all the time.
You said hungry?
Ornery.
Ornery.
What does that mean?
Ornery, mean.
They were mean. Ornery.
I don't know how to spell that.
You don't even know good American language.
No,
English
I
language?
guess not. How do you spell that?
I couldn't really tell you.
O-N-R-Y? Ornery.
I think it is.
Just put mischievous down there. It's the same thing.
There you go, yeah.
You know that one, don't
I
you?
do know that one.
No, it's Ornery.
O-R-N-E-R-Y?
And it means bad temper and combative.
Yeah.
Some hogs are just mean and ornery. Which was like your brothers.
My oldest brother kind of looked after me before he drowned, but he took me on ride on his bicycle and stuff like that. And looked after me, and the other boys wasn't mean to me. But after he drowned, I caught all kinds of problems.
Because you were the youngest?
Yeah.
Well, it's just like you and Bailey. I mean, you were kind of annoying to him, but yet he liked to pick on you.
Yeah.
So, but his brothers were hell raisers.
Yeah, I mean to tell you.
So, yeah. We'll get to that soon, I'm sure.
Any other words other than mischievous and ornery? Ornery?
We just get in trouble. My mama used to take and put a little chain through my overalls and hook it to the line so I couldn't run them.
Because you wanted to follow your older brothers?
No, because I just did what I wanted to. I'd run off, go up where I wanted to in town. So
Mischievous.
she couldn't ever find me, so she got there on the clothesline where she hung her clothes, run that little strap through my overalls, snapped it up there, and I couldn't go nowhere.
And you weren't smart enough to take your overalls off?
Well, a little girl lived next door to us there. I used to go over to her house all the time. My cousin lived on the other side, and I'd go over there all the time, and they couldn't never find me. So they fixed it where
They could find you.
yeah.
Did you have a nickname when you were growing up?
Jimbo,
Is that Bo as in B-O-W or just B-O?
Yeah.
boy, Bill.
One word or two?
Because he had B.O.
No. Do you remember who your best friends in your elementary school days were?
In my elementary school days, yes, one of them lived down the street. That was Bobby Williams. One I went to school was Elvin Ringo. David, I can't think of what his last name is right now. Davis.
David Davis.
Did you keep in contact with any of them as you got
Yeah,
older?
I've got them on my Facebook. Me and Elvin Ringo started in the first grade together. Went clear through high school together till I quit.
You quit high school?
Yep. I got my GED when I was in the service.
Do you remember what your regular chores were around the house or yard?
Yeah, most of mine was gathering eggs and keeping the yard cleaned up
You want to tell her about when you gather eggs?
and hiding from the roosters.
Yeah, he told me that story that they would attack him. You were ornery.
We had two big old roosters out there, a red one and a white one. And them things used to chase me down, and I'd wear short pants like that. The reason I don't ever wear them anymore. I'd have them short pants, they'd cook their spurs in my legs, make them bleed. I hated them darn. I wanted to kill them, but Daddy wouldn't let me.
Did you get an allowance?
No,
You just had to do it, right?
that's it.
Part of being in the family.
What was a typical Saturday like when you were a kid?
Helping Mama clean the house, listening to the radio, Buster Brown, the Gene Autry show. That's about it.
That's it. Just
The
cleaned around
Shadow
the
Knows.
house? What?
The Shadow. Yeah, that you never seen the movie The Shadow?
Mm-mm.
It was he's supposed to be a invisible guy, and they call him the Shadow. It was kind of like a Dick Tracy series, but he was some kind of a hero.
Can you describe what your room looked like when you were growing up?
Yeah, it has. We slept in the basement. There was no room. Had horse feed, mice.
Was it messy or clean?
We had to keep it clean.
And you shared it with all of your siblings?
Huh?
Did you share it with all of your siblings?
There were four of us.
The boys?
All four of us had to sleep in one bed, or five. Let's see, it was Albert, Paul, Wilbur, and me, four of us. Kay and Donna slept in the other room. Leota was upstairs. Glenn, by that time, was in he went to in the military in 45.
Albert, Wilbur, Glenn, and what was that one? Albert, Wilbur, Glenn.
Albert, Wilbur, Glenn, and who else?
Paul.
Paul. Were there any paintings or posters on the walls?
No,
No?
they were just dirt walls.
So the basement in Dalhart is literally a basement. It's dirt, floor, dirt wall.
That's it. We didn't have no wood floor. We didn't have no wood walls. All we could do is look up at the bottom of the house.
Floor doors.
Huh. Interesting. What is one thing you miss about being a kid?
Everything we used to do. Everything was fun. We never went, stayed in the house. Whenever we played, we had the barrels on one side, Boatman's, and we all played and rosters. We all played hide and go seek, kick the can. On Halloween, we'd build this big bonfire and jump over the fires until me and Paul met in the middle of the fire, and I was in the fire for a while. He was bigger than me and jumped higher.
And you got hurt, didn't you? Didn't you tell me you got
Yeah,
burned pretty good?
So they had to Mom put junk all over me to keep me from blistering, but
Got it. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
pecan, butter pecan.
Why you laughing?
Because that's his favorite. And he wears short pants. So all the things I get on to him about, they come from you. I'll be nicer.
How do you like your coffee?
In a cup. Black. I don't put nothing in it.
Nothing at all?
Water.
Coffee.
Sounds good. If you could live anywhere in the world for a year with all expenses paid, where would you choose?
I don't know. I've never thought about that.
France, of course.
No, he doesn't like the French.
I don't dislike the French. Their attitude. They always think they're just a little bit better than, or think we're stupid.
Fair. Would you live in Ireland for a year? Or would you
Yeah,
like to
I would
stay,
live in Ireland.
Or would you like to stay somewhere in the U.S.? Because you've traveled all around the U.S., right?
I've been all around the U.S.
So is there anywhere that you would want to go back to and live for a year? Or would you like to travel out of the
I'll
country?
tell you what now, I like Colorado.
Colorado?
But I wouldn't live there now.
Did I put that or no?
Well, as a kid, that's where he'd want.
Yeah,
Okay, so Colorado back in the day.
yeah.
But how about now? Is there any way we're now?
Well, no. They got too many pillheads and stupid people out there.
Well, if for some reason all that wasn't an issue, like
I love the
look
mountains.
of a place.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Rocky Mountains, all up and down through there. Anywhere from Colorado up into Montana. I lived in Montana. I like Montana.
Except
You
he lived
probably
in a
wouldn't.
he lived in a
'Cause
trailer.
It's flat and it's cold.
She wants to move to Montana.
I want to go visit Montana, but I've seen some pretty pictures and
Well,
stuff.
we went through Glacier National Park up there. When we went up there, Alex lives there in, what's the name of the place now? Great Falls, Montana. I was in Glasgow, Montana. I was about 30 miles, actually it was only about 22 miles from the air base where I was stationed to the Canadian border. One little town before I got to the Canadian border was called Opine. And it still had hitching posts for horses. That was back in the 60s.
That's cool. I don't even think I've seen a hitch post ever.
You probably have, but it
Maybe
didn't have
like-
a horse on it because
Yeah.
nobody uses them anymore.
Maybe in like Colorado, like the older towns that we visited.
Well, I took the kids all over Colorado and that through Royal Gorge, and I took them to Grand Canyon, all up and down the West Coast. They got to see more in the United States than most kids their age.
Traveled a lot. How do you like your eggs cooked?
Over medium.
Over medium.
Yeah, I like the whites done.
She doesn't know what over mediums is, but yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. I've heard of over easy, but I've never heard of over medium.
As long as they ain't looking at me, it's all right.
The yolk is not as runny, it's a little firm.
Okay,
Still a little bit wet, but just
not much.
Whenever Bailey was over to us, he says, I like them straight up looking at me. I was like, can I handle that? I can make them like that.
You know, he worked in the mess hall.
you know what a mess hall is?
As a cook.
Yeah, I was saying that cooking. Yeah, I did not know that actually.
You didn't
After
know?
he chased the sergeant with
You got put.
the cleaver.
You got put there.
What?
You got put in the mess hall after chasing your sergeant.
No, yeah, after I chased my sergeant, I had to go to Montana.
Do you prefer to cook or do you prefer to clean?
I don't like cleaning at all.
So I would say cook.
I feel for y'all. In my house, I tell everybody, I said, if you come over here, don't expect it to look like a lady lives here, because I don't.
Fair enough. What is your shoe size?
8.5 in some sizes.
Yeah.
They make some of them different than others.
How old were you when you got your first email address?
Got my first, what?
Email address.
Albert set that up for me. I must have been probably about 30 years old.
An email?
Yep.
You got an email in the 60s? In 1968?
No. I was 30 years old. Not 30. That's when I was about 30 years old when I got my first email address.
The email address for
For
computer?
the internet?
Huh?
The email address for the computer
That's what I said. I was about 30 years old.
in 1968?
I didn't get it in 68.
But you were 30 in 68.
Okay, yeah. Albert set it up for me.
Yeah.
30 years
'Cause-
ago.
30 years
Yeah,
ago.
because he was doing I didn't do computers.
Yeah.
Okay. 1994.
Yeah, because I was fixing to say, because I know,
It came out in 1971.
yeah.
But nobody had it.
Yeah.
But I remember in the 90s going to his house, and his is J_McKeegan at Yahoo, right?
Yeah, that's the only one I've ever had.
Yeah.
I didn't even
1994.
mess with
30 years.
computers till I was they started it when I was
So
with
56.
B&K. Started doing,
56.
When he was 56.
Yeah. 1994 minus 1938 is 56.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, sorry.
I know it's hard to imagine, but yes.
Do you have any allergies?
yeah.
You remember that one night we couldn't sleep because he was all congested
Oh, yeah.
because he had beer.
Can't breathe, and everything, yeast, anything with yeast in it. I wasn't supposed to have any avocado stuff. Dust.
But yet he lives in a dusty house
Well,
and eats an egg sandwich every morning.
and back in the day, whenever the dust was blowing at Mama's house, Mama used to take towels and wet them and put them around the doors and the windows to keep the dust from coming in. That was clear back up. The last dust storm I ever seen was in 1946.
Yeast avocado dust.
Yeah, he lived in a time called the Dust Bowl.
Yeah, the Dust Bowl. Yeah, I remember seeing in history and stuff, they'll play the like recreation videos,
Yeah.
and that was a very popular method, was the wetting of the towels and trying to put them in the cracks. So yeast, avocado, dust. Can you think of any other allergies?
Not right off my hand.
Not offhand. That's okay. What is your biggest fear?
Being buried alive. That was my biggest fear.
That's
And the only reason that bothered me is because my aunt, when she passed away, when they dug her up to move her to they had buried her in the backyard, and whenever Grandpa got
I know this one. I know this one.
plotted the cemetery, they dug her up, was moving her, and he said, "Open it up, I want to see her." And he shouldn't have never done that, because she had been buried alive.
Oh, was there like scratch marks on it or something? How'd
Oh,
they-
she had turned clear around in the casket.
I remember others telling the same story from you.
But that can't happen now because we put people through
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. But yeah,
My grandpa looked at my grandmother. He says, "If they ever tell you I'm dead," he said, "take my gun and shoot me. Make sure I'm dead." Of course, after that was before they embalmed them, and there was a lot of stories like there's a lady there in Kingfisher that was well today,
Got her.
and she died. And they buried her. Her husband said, "Take the ring off her fingers. I'll keep the ring," because it was an expensive ring. And they told her, said, "Oh, the only way that they could do it is cut her finger off." And he said, "No, he's just leave it on there then." Well, some joker went out there and dug her up that night, started cutting on that finger, and she started screaming, and walked back to town.
How did that accidentally happen though? How did people?
The blood started flowing again. She was like in a catatonic, that was the state. She wasn't breathing hard, but whenever the blood started on your ring finger, that's where it goes to your heart. So whenever they tried to cut her finger, her blood started. They said that's the only one thing they could figure.
Wow,
I
that's
said-
crazy.
I said, "Well, if it had been me, it wouldn't have had to cover that thing back up. Just put me on down there."
That's crazy. What would you order if you could order anything? What would you order as your last meal? So it could be from any restaurant. It could be a homemade meal. Maybe one that your mom made that you liked. Whatever you like.
Yeah, casserole. It was pork chop casserole, she called it.
With posty toasties
Posty toasties.
or post toasties. whatever.
Post toasties.
And it was made by your mom.
Yep. And cinnamon rolls. And Albert helped her with that.
What would you get for your drink? If it doesn't have to match the meal. It could be whatever you
Yeah.
like.
I don't know. I guess I'll just get me a glass of water.
Just a glass of water.
No hot toddy?
Have you ever broken a bone? And if so, which ones and how?
Yeah.
This
Has
one,
he
this
ever
one, this
broken?
one?
Yeah.
My collarbone, I can't remember ever breaking a bone.
Wait, collarbone, your arm.
Oh yeah, I broke my arm.
You ever break?
Actually, it didn't break it. It was cracked.
Yeah, I just remember you had a long cast
Yeah.
that you kept having to hold up. Any fingers you broke?
No,
No leg?
no,
No skull?
no.
Your
Now my
back?
skull doesn't count.
Well, you broke your back.
I fell out of a tree and cut my head open.
Um,
My brothers put me in a swing, and they got to jerking it back and forth and pulled me. I fell out of the seat when that thing come back of my head. It cut it open. I think that was a lot of my problem growing up. They about beat my brains out.
you broke your back in the car wreck.
I didn't break it. It was That, one was, that little car I had,
Little Horizon, yeah.
no, it didn't break it, it just separated it.
Because I remember you had surgery on it, and or they said it.
Nope.
You had a brace on for a while, but I thought you had
Nope.
back surgery.
How'd you
If I wore a brace, it was, I don't remember really, but I don't remember. I remember whenever I turned the car over, whenever I hit the bottom, I went down. I thought I broke my back. It took me a while to heal.
Yeah.
I still have a problem with my back.
How did you break your collarbone?
I think I was fighting my brother.
And how did you crack your arm?
Unloading in a truck.
He fell out of a U-Haul truck.
Hooked my pants leg on the doggone ball hitch and I fell.
We were inside the hotel room, and he come in there and I think it broke my arm.
Okay, so you broke your collarbone from fighting your brother. You cracked your arm from unloading a U-Haul truck and falling. You split your skull after falling out of a swing. You separated your back in a car wreck.
Yeah.
You're beating yourself up over here. What is your favorite sandwich?
Back when it was fried bologna.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Fried what? Bologna?
Yeah. Did you eat anything on it, like ketchup or anything?
Mayonnaise.
On white bread? Or-
Yep.
Just ruined it.
Dad and I like ours with ketchup.
Huh?
We like our fried bologna sandwiches with ketchup.
Yeah, it's good too. Mama made all of our bread, so
Oh, that's cool. Evan, my boyfriend, he's really into making bread right now. He really likes doing it.
And they really like eating it.
Yes, it is very enjoyable to eat.
Mama made biscuits, and then she'd one of these big round dish pans, 2 of them, and fill them up, and put the yeast in them, set them on, cover them up, put them up on the top of the stove, and let them rise. And she took them out, made the bread loaves. She would roll it out, put cinnamon and sugar and everything, make cinnamon rolls.
That sounds good.
And my older brother, Albert, helped her do it.
That sounds very nice. How would you describe yourself when you were a teenager?
Ornery.
Trouble? Same things as earlier?
Worse.
Yeah.
Because earlier I wrote down mischievous, ornery as a devil, troublemaker, and bad.
I had to be.
Why? Why'd you have to be?
I had 4 older brothers. I got in trouble with Dad one time. Wilbur come in and I forgot what he done, but I turned around and punched him in the nose. And Dad got a hold of me. Now my brothers give me gun. I'll tell you what they did to me. They all got on, they chewed tobacco. So I'm standing out there with them. I wasn't very old, but I said, yeah, go ahead and give him a chunk. And it was Albert, or I think it was, that done it. I was chewing on that tobacco. He says, there's a bird. And I look up in there and I swallowed it.
Oh my goodness.
And you talk about a sick puppy. I throwed up. Dad would, he told the boys to go down and get me a orange drink that they had down there. There's a little store about a block away from where he was at. Every time I'd throw up, and Dad, I'm gonna beat them 10 boys to death. I never chewed no tobacco after that.
Yeah, that was a good lesson, I guess. How did you dress and style your hair during your teens?
During my teens, much as I could like my brothers.
Was that like a slick back?
Yeah. Put a wave in the front of it.
Like he has right now.
We've seen a picture of
Like
it.
this? That. And then how did you dress?
Blue jeans, western shirt, cowboy boots.
You gotta remember they were North Texas.
Did you hang out with a group or just a few close friends?
Yeah, we had a few of us guys all messed around together and raised Cain together. I guess they called them the Black Hats for a while. The
Black
Black
Hats?
Hat Gang, yeah.
Black cat or hat?
Hat. We used, everybody had a black cowboy hat. So there was a Black Hat Gang. That's what the cops called them.
Do you still talk to any of them today, or?
No, most of them gone. Let's see, like I said, Elvin Ringo I did, but all the ones I run around with are all gone.
Describe a typical Friday or Saturday night during your high school years.
Oh, no.
Hanging out at the drive-in, or the drive-through, soda jerk.
Usually on Saturday nights, when I was a teenager, we went to the dance. They had them in two different places. One up little town between Clayton and Dalhart, where we went out, old school gym, and danced. They had the American Legion up there in Dalhart, where we would go dance at night. And after that, after the fights was over, we'd go to the hamburger joints. Whataburger.
Whataburger was around back then?
Sure.
When did they open?
No, this wasn't it wasn't
A true
like
Whataburger?
a Whataburger
That we have now?
franchise. This is just a little restaurant there at home. They called it the Whataburger.
The Whataburger did start in Texas.
I didn't know that.
I want to say it was in the 50s.
1950.
Yeah, it's in Corpus. Yeah, it's from Corpus.
You checking out Grandpa's new shoes?
That was the first time I went to jail. We was there eating.
What?
We was eating, and Wilbur come in and says, "I'm going to take that." I was going with Maudine Sanders, and her mother and I went to the dance with us. And I was driving her daddy's car.
Because Mama was drunk, right?
Wilbur
Mama,
was.
I thought Mama was drunk.
Oh yeah, she couldn't hit her
That's why he was driving.
ass with both hands. He was. But anyway, Wilbur decided he'd gonna. I said, "You got Dad's car. Let's go on home." So I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna whip your ass out. I said, "You've been doing that for 16 years. If you do it tonight, you're gonna earn it." So the fight was on.
Oh, Lord.
I got the best of him that night.
And then you went to jail?
Hmm?
And then you went to jail?
Yeah, the cop knocked me off of him with a pistol
Well, he was standing on top of the trunk,
of a car.
thumping, so he puts it, thumping Wilbur. I don't know what a thump is, but,
Thumping on somebody. Yeah, you hitting.
well, to me, this is a thump.
No.
No, that was the
You're
thing.
like it.
That first time I ever got the best of Wilbur.
And guess what happened?
Went to jail.
He got bailed out.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
They left
Well-
Wilbur in.
Wilbur told me, says, run. They took us to jail. I says, Wilbur says, you run, they're gonna take me to jail. Well, he got in a fight with two of them. And the boys run over and told Dad, says, Doc Kemp hit Jim with a pistol. I don't know what he hit me with, but I seen stars. I lost my glasses. And Dad came down there, and I thought he was going to jail too. He hit Doc, knocked him through a door.
The police officer. He knocked out one of the police officers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dad was mean.
He came in and said, "Did you hit my son?" And before he even had a chance to answer, his pop hit him.
He was standing up for you.
Oh, Dad was a bad fellow. You wouldn't ever know it. He came home one day from downtown. Whole side of his shirt was bloody. And I thought, ooh, he was hurt, but he was just mad. When my dad he'd put his thumbs in his belt loops, and hands in his back pocket. You went to the other room and shut up. He was upset. But I found out later, somebody in a car, I don't even remember who it was, spouted off something at Mother. But he had to stop at the stoplight, and that was his undoing. Dad pulled him right out in the middle of Main Street, pulled him out of the car, and beat him down good.
Wow.
All of that blood on the side. Dad was left-handed, so he hit him right up on there and beat his
Beat
head
him
pretty
up?
good. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They
Wow.
said they run up and hollered at Mr. Dickey. He was the sheriff. Said, Mr. McKeegan out there has beat the hell out of somebody. He says, I can't see him from here.
Wow. That's
Cops back then, they took their licks just like everybody else. Didn't shoot nobody.
Did you have a curfew?
I was supposed to, yes.
But you didn't follow it?
Yes, I did most of the time.
Most time. What do you remember what time it was?
Daddy kept that little strap hanging right there at the front door. I mean, at the back door. Back strap off a saddle cinch, and it got all them little holes in it. You didn't want that sucker on your butt. Yeah, you did what Daddy told you to do. 2 or 3 of them, I think Wilbur and Glenn tried to buck up against him one time. It didn't work.
Backfired?
Yeah, big time.
Do you remember what time your curfew was?
Well, in school days, I had to be home by 10 o'clock. Supposed to. Saturday, well, Dad worked the railroad, so he wasn't home much. He was an engineer.
Do you remember a specific time that you got in trouble for getting in past your curfew?
Yeah.
And what were you doing?
I was running around. I come back, I was gonna go to asked his mom to go to a movie, and I tried to walk around my dad. That was a mistake. I only did that once. He popped me upside my head and rattled my cage for good now.
So your punishment was just getting whooped?
If you didn't do what the man said, and he didn't tell you but once, three of the boys tried to run away one time, and they did it on horseback. They took their horses and took off. They was riding off into the sunset.
That's crazy.
See, there was Glenn, Albert, Sonny Reeves, Elvis Ward, Bill Short. All of them had their horses saddled up, had their gear on the back of the horse, and they was headed out. They were running away. Mm-hmm. But Elvis Ward's dad was a chief of police. So he come over there and got hold of Dad. He said, "We'll go get him and bring him on back home." And
That's what he did?
Oh, they did. They didn't say nothing. They wouldn't argue with him, neither one of them. And they was eating rattlesnakes, and then they made a big deal that they caught them out there in the sand hills, which was a big area. It was kind of like a desert. And the sand, every time it blew, it would move from place to place. But they called it the sand hills. And they all went out there and set up their little tents and caught rattlesnakes, and that's what they was eating.
Wow, I can't imagine.
And they put it in the newspaper. All these boys went out eating rattlesnakes. They were good.
Did you date during your high school years?
Did I did school in high school? No, I didn't.
You didn't date?
Oh, did you say date or did?
Yes.
Date.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did.
Were you a player?
He probably doesn't know what player is.
Like, were you suave with the ladies?
Not two or three of them.
What are you doing?
It's we all run around together. 4 or 5 of the girls we did. I went with 2 or 3 of them.
So I know you just mentioned going to dances a minute ago, but this question says, did you go to any school dances? And if so, what were they like?
Never went to a school dance.
Never went to a school dance? Just went to outside?
I went to a March of Dimes dance one time. An old boy playing in the band, he sold his pants for $50 to put in for the March of Dimes. They bought pants. He took his pants off, threw them out on the floor, and he sat up there and played his guitar. Now we did whatever we wanted to. I mean,
Who taught you to drive and in what kind of car?
it was a 1934, I think, Ford Coupe, and Jimmy Fay Sharp.
Do you remember what color it was?
Yeah, it was black. They didn't have nothing but black.
Go ahead.
4 in the floor. Starter was down there.
Yeah.
You know what 4 on the floor is?
Stick shift?
You had a clutch, a brake, and an accelerator and a starter down there on the floor. You had to push down on the starter, pull the choke for the thing to start.
Oh my goodness.
Jimmy Fay and me and Wilt played chicken out there on the highway one day. But Jimmy was driving.
Do you know that? You could have died,
I could have, but
but you
Gonna
didn't.
stop.
Didn't think about it at the time.
Mm. How old were you when you got your first car?
Gosh, first one was actually Daddy's, but Dad wasn't there most. I drove Mama with it all the time. But kind of like mine was a 1940 model Pontiac.
Maybe it's been out 20 times.
And that was your first car? Do you remember how old you were?
Archie.
I think I was about,
Archie.
well, I've done it in junior high. Junior high. So I was probably about 16 because I got my driver's license back then.
What were your grades like when you were still in school?
Bad. I had no interest in school.
Did you have a favorite subject and a least favorite subject?
Yeah,
Lunch and recess.
history,
That was your favorite?
yeah, and English.
That was your least favorite was English? What did you like and dislike about high school?
I just like to be around the people. The kids in the school, they're all good kids. And I enjoyed going to school. I never missed a day most of the time. Kay went all the way through high school without missing a day. I never ditched. And I carried Donna and Kay to school all the time. So I didn't miss much.
And then what did you dislike about high school?
I don't think anything I dislike about doing it. I kind of, like I said, I like to be around the kids and
What made
all
you
the friends.
What made you drop out?
Lazy.
All right, fair enough. Did you participate in any school activities or sports?
FFA.
You raise chickens. No.
Uh-huh.
You raise chickens.
Yeah. FFA was Future Farmers of America.
Did you raise chickens or what did you raise?
We with them, we took care of a bunch of hogs out there, and yeah, we had chickens there at the house. But for the FFA deals, I had to go to the cafeteria and pick up the buckets of garbage and take it out to our hogs we had for the school. I enjoyed that too.
What are a few of your favorite songs from your high school years?
Gosh, I can't remember them.
I could probably look up some songs, you think?
Yeah.
What year would that be? 1938 plus, like...
Well, 56, 57 was Elvis Presley. I liked mostly country westerns, so Eddie Arnold,
Marty Robbins?
Marty Robbins, Eddie Arnold. These are older than Marty Robbins. Roy Acuff. I'll tell you somebody that I like to listen to was Liberace.
Liberace?
Yep. And how you spell this other guy? He was a violinist. His name was Florian Zabach. They had a nightly show that we used to go Liberace played the piano, and the next one next to him was Florian Zabok. He played the violin.
Y'all listen to it on the radio.
Yeah.
These are a lot of songs, I feel like.
I never could I tried to find out something about Florian Zabok a long time ago, but I never could. I didn't know how to spell his name first place.
1953, would you have been in high school?
1953, I was in junior high school.
Junior high school?
Florian Zabok, not born 1918, died in 2006. He was a violinist.
You found him?
Mhm.
He was good.
Well, here are the top songs.
Nobody else knew that I listened to them people. Because he was a classical was Florian Zabok. And of course, everybody didn't like old Liberace because he was tutti frutti. But he could play that piano. I don't care, you know.
That's Zabok.
Zabok. Yeah.
That one's called The Hot Canary.
Here's some top songs of 1955, so that would have been around high schoolish.
Mr. Sandman.
Of course, most of them was like Elvis Presley and Marty Robbins, Carl Smith, and Lefty Frizzle, Connie Smith. Them were all country western singers. And my favorite, I guess, was of all of them was Slim Whitman.
Slim Whitman.
Do you recognize any of these?
What?
Do you recognize any of these?
Oh, the Platters. Yeah, I like them too. Wasn't it the Platters? Yeah,
The naughty lady in shady lane has hit the town like a bomb. The back fence gossip ain't been this.
now he married a country western singer's daughter.
Knowing all you know now, what advice would you give to your teenage self?
My teenage self. If I'd have done what I was supposed to do, I would have finished school. I know I couldn't have went to college because I didn't have but I could have done better than I did.
What might you have done differently in school if you knew then what you know now?
I would have studied harder. We clowned around too much.
Do you have any teachers, coaches, or any other mentor who had a significant impact on you when you were growing up?
Miss Gossett, she was my favorite.
Do you remember how to spell that?
Gossett. Gossett. And Miss Hicks, Hicks, and Miss Patterson. They were all good teachers. They're more than that. I was in there, but
What made them so good that like you remember their names and they were significant?
I guess because they paid attention to when I'd ask a question and do what I wanted. If I needed help, they were there.
Dog is crying.
Did it teach you anything like discipline wise and stuff, being in the Air Force?
Oh yes, it taught you did the best you can of what you're doing, or do the job you're supposed to do. Discipline was the most important thing. Even though sometimes I didn't follow it.
If you could go back, what, if anything, would you change about this period of your life? Or would you leave it all the same?
I wouldn't do nothing different.
When you were a kid, what did you want to grow up and be?
The Lone Ranger, I think.
What was your first job?
My first job was chopping Johnson grass in a field.
Chopping grass?
Johnson grass. I got 50 cents an hour. When I was a kid. And when I got out of service, I done night security guard at the doctor's offices. There was about 57 doctors in there. And then I went into surveying. Then I went into construction. Chief engineer, field engineer. So I was a field engineer and worked my way up through to being a chief field engineer. And that's what I was until I retired in 2008.
So probably about 10, 15 different jobs? What was your favorite job or a few of your favorite jobs?
Now, breaking the horses was some one of them. Doing the land survey.
You gotta see a lot of places.
That was a lot of fun. And then working construction. If I didn't like it, I couldn't do it. So I liked all of it.
What is your least favorite job you have had?
Chopping the cotton. Yeah, and that's the same thing as the Johnson grass. All you do is clean up the fields. I did pick cotton, but my uncle kicked me out of his cotton field.
Why?
I was chopping too much cotton. I was supposed to be chopping the weeds, not the cotton.
Is there any job or profession that your parents wanted you to pursue and be in?
Not that I know of. They just wanted me to get up there and get out and make my own. Can you imagine after 14 children.
Yeah.
That would have been just like get out.
When people asked you what your profession was, what would you say?
Construction worker. I did that for 35 years. And more than that, because I was with Brown B&K 35 years. I worked 10 years with Brown and Root here in Houston.
Was it on the blue collar side, or was it more like what you do?
No, he was blue collar.
That's where we found him.
He went into the management side, but
Yeah.
he was more out of the field.
He was doing civil engineer work though, right?
Yeah.
How did you get into the construction career?
Just look for a job. When I got laid off in Florida, we come to Houston in 1965. That's where I actually got into construction work. And then that was road construction, then building construction come in a little later.
So if you didn't know this, he was part of the crew that helped build the bridge that crossed over from the Astrodome to Astroworld.
Yeah.
Okay.
Used to be Astroworld, the bridge. Yeah, that was a private bridge, and Brown and Root built it. But I was working for Brown and Root.
What were the best parts of this profession?
The money.
Anything else, or just the money?
No, it was a challenge. The challenges that you had during your building of the buildings and the roads and stuff.
Mm-hmm. What aspects did you dislike about it?
Some of the people I had to work with.
They were just rude, or
They
were rude?
Yeah, some of them were just plain dumb.
No, you don't need anything.
Who was the best boss you ever had?
I'm gonna say Mr. Ted Kennedy.
Tim?
Ted.
Ted
And what was the last name?
Kennedy.
Kennedy? Why was he such a good boss?
He's the one that got me started and kept me on doing a lot of different things with the company. And he backed me up and helped me too. And there was one more that really got me started and got me on a salary, and that was General Estes with Brown and Root.
Estes?
Estes.
ESTS.
And what made him so good?
Well, like I said, he helped me get other jobs whenever I run out of work. And I did the job for him, he would acknowledged it. He called when he told me he had to lay me off from a construction job, he says, come back over here. And he called me one day and told me I'd come back out to his job, and then sent me to another job. He says, I'm telling you, tell them to hire you. So they hired me at the other job. And then that's when I first got to where I could be on salary with Browning roof. So he had to get on solid.
What are some of your work and career related achievements that you're proudest of?
Everything that we built. We built paper mills, petroleum mills, oil. Worked on in the food industry. That's about it. Everything you build, if it works, is makes you proud of it.
I would agree with that.
Have you ever been told you look like someone famous?
No,
No?
yeah, maybe they did. They told me the devil.
What is your morning routine?
Now, nothing. Getting up, really.
You get up, take your pills?
I do take my pills at 9 o'clock in the morning and at 9 o'clock at night. I do go out and feed the horses and water the horses. I mow my own lawn.
But you don't do this all in the morning, do you?
I know everything that I do during the day, take care of the little old dog. I don't know how long she'll be around. I don't know if she'll even be around when I get home.
What is your favorite guilty pleasure?
My what?
Favorite guilty pleasure?
Guilty.
Like, how do you explain it?
Like you shouldn't do it, but you do it anyway. TikTok.
Huh?
TikTok.
Oh,
Something you shouldn't
well,
do, but you do
I
it
guess
anyway.
my biggest pleasure today is harassing people on TikTok and on. I get people mad at me for on these political things. I kind of rag them a little bit.
In your Facebook jail?
Yeah. That's a good part time because my cousin hates me.
Which one?
Rhonda Law.
Uh,
She's my second cousin, but my cousin's daughter. But my cousin don't like me too much either.
It asks this question again. It says, have you ever broken a bone? But we already answered that one.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself to be an introvert or an extrovert?
Explain introvert.
Introvert is like you're more recluse. You like to hang out at the house more and be kind of by yourself or with close friends and family. Extrovert is like you like to go out.
I like to visit and leave. I like being alone a lot. No, I don't really like being alone. It's
is
just
this now or back in the day?
I think now.
It don't bother me. I don't have to answer to nobody.
An extrovert is somebody who has to spend time with people.
Yeah, extrovert like you want to go out.
Like you
and
leave
wanna
your
do
house
stuff.
and go to
I
Waffle
don't-
House just
Ain't
to talk
nowhere
to
to
people.
go.
What is your favorite thing about yourself?
Being able to move.
You answered this earlier, but it says, did you ever skip school when you were a kid?
Nope.
Oh, we have a family tree. Okay, let's see. Okay. Your great grandma. So your grandmother's mom, right?
No.
How about
my great grandmother?
How about my granddad's or my dad's grandmother? That would be my great grandmother.
Wait.
Okay, so which way you want to go? My dad's family or my mother's family?
Well, there's two sides to it. So this is his mother's side.
Okay.
This is my mother's side.
Yeah, so you put his mother's name.
Okay.
Well, my grandmother.
Your mama, what mama's name? Your mama's name?
Violet
Violet?
Jane.
Violet Jane
Yep.
What was her maiden name?
Martin.
Martin. Okay.
And then her mother's name.
Her mother's name?
So is this doing it from his point of view? So his mom's name?
So this is his mother. He would write his mother's name.
Yeah, yeah.
And then this would be his
But
mother's.
this is saying from his point of view, the Maya's
Yes,
name.
yes.
Okay. So yes, your grandma.
I
your
think my
mom's side.
grandmother's name was Viola.
Give me 2 minutes.
Huh?
Pause that.
I think
Or she's like, what was that?
I don't know if I got that much breath or not.
Oh, it may take longer than I thought to.
Waldo burns his hand. Set the house on fire.
They all be burnt down time you get up there.
I hope you like wax. On your birthday cake.
That's one reason why I didn't do that.
All right.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Grandma. Happy birthday to you.
All right, you're gonna try to blow it out?
Flip it.
Oh wait, he wants to flip it for the picture. Gunner.
Oh!